Welcome to your home tutorials, and you're watching lesson 2 of SQL for Beginners tutorial. In this chapter we will learn how to create a database. So let's get started with this. First of all, we should understand what a syntax is. Syntax is the general rules of any computer language, or it is just like a grammar we use to write any language. So syntax is a grammar of computer languages, which can be of C, C++, C Sharp, and in this case SQL. So we have some rules of writing a SQL queries, and that is known as syntax. So usually each statement of SQL is terminated by a semicolon. I said usually. Why usually? Because uh, some databases might not need a semicolon, like Microsoft SQL Server, in which we will be going to do our practicals, have semicolon as an optional thing. In Oracle, on the other hand, semicolon is necessary to end the statement, to let the database engine know that one statement end here and the next statements end here. But Microsoft SQL Server gives us ease for that we can skip this semicolon, but I'll suggest that you can use semicolon so that it will be easy for you to understand where the SQL statement ends, but not really necessary now. So in this case, the syntax of SQL Server is also case insensitive. So if I write select, which is a very basic query, and we will going to learn that but a bit later. So select in uppercase, select in lowercase, select in mixed case of letters, all means the same thing here. But there is one exception, that data stored in the tables in Oracle is case sensitive. Please note that data stored in the database, not the statements of SQL, are case sensitive, but the data stored in the Oracle database is case sensitive. On the other hand, Microsoft SQL Server is case insensitive for both the SQL statements and the data stored in the Microsoft SQL Server. So let us suppose that I store a employee name Nikhil in uppercase in Oracle database. Then to fetch that, I cannot write give me the name Nikhil in small case letters. I have to type it in caps. Give me the name of Nikhil, Nikhil, in caps, so that it can give me result. Otherwise Oracle will get zero result. On the other hand, if I store the value Nikhil in uppercase in Microsoft SQL Server, I can query in both the case or mixed case, because it is a case insensitive language. So let's understand the syntax for creating a database. It is very simple. We just write create database and give some database name which does not exist already in our database, in our server. So we can give create database and database name. As I already said, the semicolon is optional in Microsoft SQL Server, in which we are going to work. Another thing is dropping a database. Dropping a database means deleting a database. Dropping means completely delete the structure. For deleting a database, we only use drop database. Now I'm here in my VM, and in order to run SQL queries, we need to have a database management system. It could be Oracle or Microsoft SQL Server or any other RDBMS. I'm using Microsoft SQL Server, so let's open my Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio, where we are going to write the SQL queries and execute them. So let me connect to this SQL Server, and here is the databases, and there is no database available with us except some system databases. So in order to create a new databases using my transact SQL, I need to use new query. So before I go further, I would like to tell you that there are two ways to create a database in Microsoft SQL Server. You can do it either using GUI, the graphical user interface, or you can do it by using transact SQL. By transact SQL, I means the SQL queries. There are few syntax differences in various RDBMSs. So Oracle use some different syntaxes. Not much difference is there, but some difference for built-in functionality. So I'll be covering Microsoft SQL Server. So let's create a simple database with simple query. It will be create database, and the database name, let us say I am creating a database for employees, so I write create database employee. Please note that whenever we create a database, here in this Dropbox menu, we should have a master, because master is the built-in database which stores the information uh, of all the databases we have. So either we can do it using GUI, or we can just type here in before this statement use master. So let me show you how it happens. Let me suppose my database is this, and if I execute this statement, click on execute, then you can see the difference that we have master now here. So let's create a database. I just click on execute now. I will not highlight anything, because highlighting means I need to run only that amount of statement which I'm highlighting, but I want to execute the whole set of statements, so I'll click on execute. So here the commands completed successfully, but there is no database. For this we need to click on this databases and click on refresh button, and here is my database employee. How can the other way, if I don't want to see in GUI my database, I have one built-in stored procedure for in Microsoft SQL Server named as sp_databases, which tell us information about the databases. So I highlight only sp databases and click on execute. So here's my employee database. Its size is 5200 KB. So how does 5200 KB came here? Let me show you some properties of the database out here, and go to files and see the size 5.08 MB. These are the default values when I create a database. We can do it explicitly if we want to change. Say we want to change the initial size, we want to change these options. See, we have this by 10% limited to something around 2 TB, 2 terabyte, and here is the path of my files. A database in Microsoft SQL Server consists of two files basically. A primary file is MDF, which is also known as which is also known as master data file, and another one is LDF, which stands for log data file. As the name suggests, MDF or master data file stores the master data into the database, and log data file stores the transactional logs in the LDF file. So we can change the path using a transact SQL. We can change the name of the file. We can change, or we can create at the time. If we don't want to use my initial values. And why is the need if we don't need initial values? Because if we want to have a good database, we should avoid some fragmentation. If we say we have given a file of initial size 5 MB here, so we should plan a database in such a way that we should know that at least it will take this much of amount in future as well. We need to consider the future requirements as well. We don't want to give a small chunks fragmented in our disks of the file. What SQL Server does is it will allot a size of 5 MB initially in this case, and when our database reach 5 MB, it will allot another 1 MB, and because auto growth is of 1 MB, it will allot another 1 MB somewhere in hard disks, and that could lead to a fragmentation and will deteriorate the performance of a database. So said that, we should plan our database. Supposedly if our database is large and could take gigs in upcoming year or something, we can have it to 1 gig initial size, or if we have small database, we can give it say 100 MB initial size, and that will help us to an extent to save some fragmentation in our disks. So let's try to create a database without these default values. So I just click on close out here, and for that I will drop my current database and drop database employee. As I told you that database are not deleted, they are dropped, because drop command is a DDL command, data definition command, which is used to drop the structure of an object. So our object is employee, which we are dropping, and we'll click on execute out here. Commands completed successfully. Now if we go out here and execute SP databases, there is no employee. I click on database out here and click on refresh, so no employee database now I have. So let's create this employee again. The syntax will remain same: create database employee with parenthesis on and parenthesis name. This is a logical name of a file, and I'll give it employee. Say you can give it any name. It may or may not have the same name as a database, but for as a standard we use the name of the database out here, but we can use any name. This should come under single quotes. This is a logical name, excuse me. And then file name, it will give the full path, so I'll giving it MS SQL. You should have a folder where you want your file. So this is for my master file, and I'm creating it, say employee.mdf. We can use any extension, and SQL can load that extension. There is not necessary that we should use MDF as an extension, but as a standard we use MDF for a master data file. And now I will use size, the initial size, and let's say it is give 100 MB, and then maximum size, I would not like to restrict this size, so I'll give it unlimited. Please don't forget to use comma out here. And then we have file growth, which will tell us with how much amount my file will grow when it reaches 100 MB. So I'll can give it either in percentage, or I can give it in MB. So I'll give it 50 MB, say that my file growth will be 50 MB. And then where I want to store the log, I will write log on parenthesis start, and the whole thing the same thing, name. As I already told that this is not case sensitive, so you can see here I have name in caps and here is in lowercase, name is in lowercase. Now I'm giving it name employee underscore log. File name is equal to C-SQL employee dot underscore log dot LDF. Size, I'll say 10 MB or 1024 KB. Max size is equal to unlimited. File growth, I'll give it is 10%. I think I'm good to go, and they should be used master or master here. I click on execute, and commands completed successfully. So let's see. databases and refreshing, and yes, I have employee. Let's see the properties. Now my size is 101 MB complete size. Available space is 98.3. Now my files. See now my files. Where are they? C SQL and employee.mdf, employee log.mdf. Initial size is 100, 50 MB is auto growth unlimited. Here I have set unlimited, but still it is limited to 2 TB, which is a maximum size a log can have. It is actually unlimited, but not shown here. Seems to be like a bug in SQL Server 2012. We can change it from here as well, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that we have 2 TB or unlimited. So I'll click on OK, and yes, all done. So now let's check this database sp underscore databases and click on execute or F5. I'll click on F5 now, and yes, this is employee and the database size in KBs. So this is how we can create a database using our transact SQL. Now I'm gonna show you how you can create a database using a GUI feature of Microsoft SQL, which is very easy, but you should know the transact SQL, which is handy sometimes. If you want to create so many databases, say, then you will need to, in GUI you need to create a database every time. But if you have transact SQL, you create a script and you can just change the name of the databases and create, if you want to create a template kind of thing. So now I'll just drop this database again using drop command, drop database employee. I'll highlight this only and click on execute to run only drop command, and this is command completed successfully. I click on databases, click on refresh, and database is gone. Now in order to create this databases using GUI, I right click on this databases in my object explorer, right click, new database, give the name employee, change the initial size, say 100 MB, and give it as 10 by 10% unlimited. We can change the path, but I'm not going to change it. I'm just trying employee.mdf employee underscore log.mdf and click on ldf and click on OK, and my database is set now. Now if I click on sp underscore databases, here's my employee, and if I click on refresh, here's my employee database. So this is how we can create a database using a GUI and using our transact SQL. So I hope you understood the concept of creating a database, and if you like this video, please click on like button and subscribe button so that you can watch my another lessons in SQL for beginners tutorial. So thank you, and don't forget to click on subscribe and like button.